Once you have clicked to revalue your selected portfolios, you will be taken to the Risk dashboard. Click on the Overview tab. The Overview display sorts your holdings according to your selection in this menu bar. Sorting by exposure is useful if you need to make some swift and effective changes to your portfolio with as few trades as possible. If you selected a third-party data supplier, you can see the prices changing color as they update in real time. The number of columns that you view in this screen is determined by your settings in the View page of the Setup unit. If the display is too busy for your needs, hide those fields that you don't need. In the Overview page, you can click to view the prices, exposure and considerations in each security's valuation currency, or you can view all your reports in the currency that you selected in the My Portfolio page. Be aware that the currency of the totals do not change currency for obvious reasons. Where you hold options, you can click to collapse all your holdings into their underlying security to show the total exposure to each one, like this. You can see that in this example, the pink option was merged down into its underlying spot security. The exposure numbers obviously remain the same. Total merged exposure is particularly useful if you are trading spot and derivative instruments on the same security. If you open your screen out to the right-hand side, then you may be able to see other details about your holding, such as the volatility or sector code and description, depending on your choices in the Setup View tab. While we at Assidium do our utmost to keep this information up to date, sector allocations can change and we cannot guarantee to keep this accurate all of the time. If you spot incorrect sector allocations for your security, we would be very grateful if you would email us at nosector@assidium.com and we will correct our error as quickly as possible. Please note that you are able to activate the Assidium Auto Cash entry in the Setup module, which adds a cash entry to your portfolio when it revalues your holdings. This entry saves you from booking the cash counter as you trade and means that you can always see the total worth or current NAV of your portfolio. If you opened your original share portfolio investment with a cash investment of £100,000, then that is the only cash trade that you need to book. Thereafter, as you book your equity trades, when you revalue, Assidium automatically takes off the book value or purchase amount of any purchases you make and adds back the cash from any short positions you may enter into, unless they are margined, of course, as there is no cash effect from a margined trade. You will see this cash line in the lower part of the overview. The cash counter will be in the currency of each of your investments, that is, in the traded currency. If you selected to include booking costs in the Feed and Settings tab, then you will see the effect here in the overview. In this example, I paid £3 for each of my Vodafone shares and a single £1 in fees. Thus the total cost value for my purchase of 100 shares is £301. Assidium is able to separate out the currency effect from your P&Ls if the report currency is different from the traded currency of your investment. Upon revaluation, the consideration of your opening trade is crossed into the reporting currency at the closing FX rate on the date of each trade and crossed back when the position is revalued. You end up with capital P&L, which is the result of changes in the price of your share only, as well as currency P&L resulting from the movements in the FX cross rate over time. Let's look at an example to see this effect. We purchase 100 AGK.GB shares at £15 on the 6th of May 2013. The cross rate to the South African Rand that day was 0.07203. and therefore the consideration or cost value was 20,824 Rand. We then closed out the position on the 22nd of April 2014, when the exchange rate was 0.05522. While we made a net £100 on the share movements, at current FX levels, we have made a further £353 on the currency exposure because the rand has weakened over the period from a value of about 7 pence per rand last year to only 5.5 pence per rand at the moment. Remember that this report is dynamic in that the cost value of each leg is revalued at current FX levels as you run the report. The currency effect does not get squared out unless you actually delete the trades and book the cash profit or loss. When we view this report with securities merged, the overall P&L for a closed position remains the same, of course, but the allocation between currency and capital moves according to the live FX cross rates. You can choose not to view the currency effect of FX cross rates trades from within the setting tabs of the setup unit.